Okay, welcome. This is a instructional video for the Sci-Fi Orion Mars Med Lab. It's an asset pack that you can buy in the Unreal Engine marketplace. I've just created a new project, a 4.19, loaded the assets into the project, which you can see over here in the content folder. There are two folders in here. One is a folder from my earlier project, the Orion Mars Living Quarters. And this has a few of the meshes from that project so that I can demonstrate how to connect it up to this med lab. And if we go into the med lab here and go to the maps, we find there are three maps in here. The final med bay here is, I'll open this up. This is with an interior and an exterior. So we can just jump out here and see. There's an exterior here. Now this can be configured however you want. It's totally modular. A lot of the assets in here are put together in Blueprint, so you can configure them. But let's start off by getting the player to work. So right now, if I click the play button, I can use the scroll wheel. I can turn around and everything like this, but I can't get the player to move using the WASD keys. So we need to set up the mapping first. And if I escape out of here, and you'll notice in the project there's a folder called Right Click and Explore. And if you right click in Show and Explore, you see there's a README file in here showing how to input the file. But I'll show you right now. So we need to go up to the project settings. We go down to inputs, and right now you can see there's no action mapping or axis mapping here. So we import a file, we go to the project, we go to content, the med lab, right click show and explore, and here's the input file. There's also one for VR, but it's not really completely set up, but it's there if you want to connect the inputs. And see, now we have the axis mapping and the action mapping here. Now when we play the game, let's try that again. We can use the WASD keys to move around the project. We can go outside here. And these assets here, these are from the living quarters. This one here. This is actually a piece that's integrated so that you can connect the living quarters directly to this med lab. And then there's also pieces over here which are not integrated pieces. These are just regular pieces from the living quarters. These pieces over here you will not find in the living quarters. They're unique to this project here. Anyway, so most of the stuff in here is modular, so I can show you some of the things like the bed here. If I click on it, you can see there's parameters over here. There's the bed position, which is the height, so we can lower and raise it. You notice that it's all set to static so that you can build static lighting for the assets. So when I move that, the light map, shadow mapping comes off. But you can adjust the side rails. So I think this is the, yeah. That side, this is this side, so you can move these down if you want to set it up to look like somebody's going to get in the bed, or lower the bed like this. You can set it up like this, and all of these beds are basically blueprints that you can modify and change around. You can change the wheels around, so you should be able to spin these around. and you can adjust them the way you like. So let me just undo that. And it's the same for the chair here. The chair is also a blueprint. We can have some parameters here. You can rotate the chair around. You can recline the seat. You can rotate the wheels. You can raise the armrest or lower the armrests. You can change the chair height up and down. And you can get rid of the armrest and the headrest if you want to have a simple chair like that. And it's of course set to static too, so you can build lighting on it as well. Then some of the other blueprints are things like the door, lab door here, and I'll just copy this and move it on out so I can show you. The parameters here are you can add a left wall, a right wall. You can add a left wall with a window, right wall with a window. You can have no door. You can have no glass in the door. You can basically configure it just to be a wall if you want by doing this and no door. Then you have a basic wall. And let's see, what else can we do here? We can go back to the windows, and we can add shattered glass to either of the windows. And that's pretty much the lab door. We have these side walls, which are blueprints. And here we have some parameters. Over here on the side we have side A. This is just side A right now. It doesn't have a side B. But we can add the side B, and then we can set the side B to thin or thick depending upon what you want. This can have windows. We can add the windows. We can have not have the windows. We can take off the different sides. Basically configure it the way we want for different use. Then we have the back wall here, which is a blueprint. You can pull this out, and then this thing can be set up in combination, or basically we only have 4 parameters here, so you can make this all like the hospital room, or you can configure it like this or like this, just to have some variation. The floors, let's take a floor like this, bring this on out. So this floor is what we're using for the hallway, but it can be easily, you can add rows here, so we can add 3 rows here, and then we just change some let's see, change that and change that, and then we have a floor that is just like inside the rooms here, so it's pretty much this floor here. And then we have the same thing for the ceilings, pretty much the same. You can configure the ceiling the same way. So that's the walls, the floors, the ceilings that are all blueprints. This wall here too as well. So this can be shrunk down to 1, 2, 3, you can go all the way up to 7 panels across. And then you can turn off the glass if you want, so that there's no glass. And then the same here with this. is again a wall that you can adjust and turn the glass off to. This door here is from the Orion Mars living quarters. So this is some assets that you get along with this to show how it connects. Then we have stuff like the scanner ring here, which is a blueprint. It only has one parameter, which is to raise and lower. So I don't know if I can get back here, and this thing will raise up out of the way, or you can lower it down in. And this is all set up with these to have the right axis, have the right origin points in them, so that you can animate these if you want to. In my video that I did, I animated these arms moving, up and down or moving around. So you can set them up in blueprints so that you can configure them to do different things. This robotic arm track, you can move these things along this spine. So these can roll along the spine here. They also have movement here and here. And you can change the attachments that are on the end. So right now it has the electric scalpel, but we can turn that off. We can turn on the surgery lamp, which has a light connected to it as well. Or the scanner pad can be connected. And that's for both arms, and both arms run around the track. Then we can go to the cryo chamber. So let's check this one out over here. So the cryo chamber has some variables in it. One, you can open the hatches. The parameters here are for the head hatch and the body hatch, and then there's either have no person in it, you can show the man, or you can show the woman, or not have anything in there at all. Then what else? So we've got the scanner ring, the robotic arms, the cryo chamber, and we've shown you how to set up the player. And I can show you one other thing in here. If I go in here, we can zoom over here. There are little TV cameras up at the top, which you can see these monitors here are swinging back and forth and projecting whatever they see. You can see the player right there, and it's the same. It's the same down here. I can show you the other two maps. The interior map is just the same, except for there's no exterior. Save. So this is pretty much the same. It looks a little bit darker because there's no skybox or direct light. And outside it's, there's nothing outside. And this way we've shut off the glass to the outside, since there's nothing out there as well. The asset map, you can go in here. There are some other assets, other static meshes in here that are not shown or used, but these are used for holding up the cryo bed. There's a additional cryo bed here, a little bit different style. If I go back here, let's just, this is just a really small little example environment here. In the living quarters, there's a much bigger, huge landscape world in that one. This one is just a small little sample to get an idea. And that's about it. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.